كيف يصوت عرب لندن. نرحب بضيفنا ديفيد وودينغ كبير المحررين في صحيفة Sun on Sunday. Welcome, David Wooding, and it's a good week because you are a Liverpool supporters.
Yes, and Liverpool are fighting. While Britain is leaving out of Europe, Britain is fighting to get in Europe in the Champions League next season.
And Liverpool beating Manchester United.
Oh, always do.
Right. For our viewers here, I must explain to them that newspapers like the Sun and its sister, you work for the Sun on Sunday, are the most successful and the widely distributed papers in Britain. Can you just give us quickly what's the secret?
Because it gives something for everybody. A tabloid paper is compact, easy to read. We write in simple language. We don't use any highfalutin words. We don't show off. We break everything down so everybody can understand it. Because not everybody knows everything about politics. Some people need it explaining to them. And so we do it without condescending to the reader, but at the same time, not assuming that they know everything. And we cover everything from showbiz, sport, drama, crime, politics.
And you always break news. You interview the Prime Minister lately, you interview every minister. And I'm very grateful you actually came with all this busy time there.
Yes. Well, of course, we have a big cross-section of readers. Everything from people who work in the city, highly paid financiers, down to your man and woman in the street who are on a below-average income. And we, because of that, the Prime Ministers always want to get our approval, and all the politicians are happy to give us an interview because they know it reaches a big audience.
Wonderful. Our VT were actually showing people, especially from the Arab world, how do they actually vote in the coming election. You know what? People vote for the government that was in power when they were arrived in Britain.
That is surprising, yes.
That probably explains why the Sun is popular. They say the Sun was the government, but it is actually with the majority.
Yes, some people talk a lot in Britain about the right-wing press. Of course, we have some left-wing papers such as The Guardian and the Daily Mirror, who slavishly follow the Labour Party and back it, even if it's really doing badly. Whereas the Sun is prepared to back what its reader, the party which will benefit its readers. We back the Conservative Party at the moment, but we backed the Labour Party for 13 years when they were successful in doing what readers wanted. With
this local election now, the Sun obviously is the side of the majority, so majority voted out. Is that the only reason that the Sun seemed to be siding a little bit with the Conservatives, or is it to do with the readership?
Well, we've always been Eurosceptic newspaper. We believe that the European Union is an undemocratic, massive, bloated, overfunded, costly, arrogant organisation, and we don't like it. And it's taken loads of sovereignty away from Britain, and we want to have our power back. And we've been saying this for years, and of course, when the referendum came along, it would have been crazy if we'd backed the staying in Europe after all the things we'd said over the years.
I read an essay once that the democracy doesn't work outside the nation state, not in a big federal like the Soviet Union or like the European Union. There's a school saying newspaper is more representative of democracy than television or radio because people actually go and buy the newspaper every day. Which school are you from?
I agree. We always say we have an election every day when a couple of million people go out and buy the paper and they put their hands in their pockets and they pay to buy that newspaper. Now, with the BBC, respect though I have for the organisation, you don't have a choice with the BBC. You have to pay your licence fee and you get it whether you like it or not, even if you don't watch it. But with the Sun and with other newspapers, you have to go and buy for it. So we top the opinion poll every day, and people pay to take part in that opinion poll.
That's probably the Prime Minister doesn't want to do TV debate and do that in the second half.
Yes.
We'll go for a break. والآن نذهب إلى استراحة قصيرة نعود بعدها إليكم. Back to David Wooding. The European Union ganging up against Theresa May. Is it going to affect the election?
Well, she came out on the steps of Downing Street yesterday to say that this was a blatant attempt to interfere with the election. Of course, you can forgive the European Union's leaders for fearing that she'll get a thumping big majority and therefore have a stronger arm in the negotiations that are about to start.
Yeah, Juncker's done an Obama then.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's quite strange. You know, we were told that the 50 billion euro starting price that they gave us for what we owe to get out of the European Union.
Then went up to 60.
It went up to 60, and now it's gone up to 100. I mean, imagine if you walked into a car showroom to buy a car. The first price they offer you is not the price you pay. You bring them down. And of course, if they then suddenly say the price has gone up.
But obviously they have not taken actually account of the assets.
No.
Which we owe there. Well, nobody has actually.
Well, there are loads of assets. There are loans, as you say, assets. We owe money in the art collection. We've got a stake in the art collection, in the wine collection. If Mr. Juncker will let us get our hands on it, and we've got. They owe us money for the European Union patients who've been treated.
They owe me money for confusing me between the pound and the kilogram. And
well,
the
exactly.
I'm an old man.
Exactly.
Actually, if we can show our viewers, there's a cartoon here in the Daily Telegraph, if you have seen it. Someone actually knocking the Prime Minister's door and said, "Oh, Prime Minister, it's 100 billion euro bill. I want a tip as well."
Yes. Now, I'd love to see. I mean, there are some people on the Remain side who are being slightly unpatriotic, who are saying, you know, that Theresa May's got this wrong and she should pay this 100 billion euros. Imagine if they walked into a souk in Marrakesh and they were trying to buy some souvenirs. You don't. The first price that he asks for the goods is not the price you pay. And then, of course, from the vendor's point of view, the first price that you're offered by the buyer is not the price you accept.
Absolutely.
You finish somewhere in the middle.
What about the... well, we all covered the Abbott car crash interview, but the actual the eating with with politicians. Do all of them in the election always eating the bacon sandwich?
Well, it's like kissing babies. They always try to show themselves to be normal human beings who are just like the rest of us.
It's not actually kissing babies disappear now.
Yes, yes. Although there are 5 sitting MPs who are defending their seats who have newborn babies, and 4 women have taken their babies out on the stump, and I'm sure they'll win a few votes.
Absolutely, babies.
But there's a old rule for actors, and it applies to politicians: never work with children or animals. And of course, they should extend that to never work with children, animals, or bacon butties or fish and chips, because they always make a mess of it. Theresa May yesterday looked almost as bad as Ed Miliband in the last election when he tried to eat a bacon butty. She looked as though she had too much vinegar on her chips, I would say.
I see. Right, she got a free cup of coffee as well.
Yes.
والآن ختاما يعني قبل أن ننهي هذه الحلقة، جلالة الملكة يوم الخميس جمعت العاملين في القصر والناس كلها وإيه الإعلان خبر مهم. إحنا قلنا إيه، هتعلن الحرب على الاتحاد الأوروبي ولا إيه؟ طبعا الخبر إن سمو الأمير فيليب زوج الملكة عنده 96 سنة، ربنا يديه الصحة، وطبعا صحته تعبانة شوية وبيظهر معاه في كل مكان وليه عمليات خيرية كتيرة وبتاع، لكن هو تقاعد من مشاكله الكثيرة. Prince Philip is now retiring. He served the nation quite a bit. He'll be longer than the Queen.
He's 96 years old. I mean, a lot of people have long since put their feet up if they're still with us at that age. And I looked at the figures. In the last year, he conducted 110 public engagements, 110 days of public engagements. That's 2 or 3 a week. That's quite astonishing for a man.
And 10 years before Princess Elizabeth became Queen, he has been an army officer. Well, he's been a Navy officer.
He's been absolutely a great support, and he's a patron of so many organisations and charities, and of course he's going to keep that work up. But he's best known, of course, for his little gaffes, because he's got a great sense of humour. There have been books written about the wit and wisdom of Prince Philip. Yeah. I mean, for instance, once when he went to hear Madonna, the pop star, singing in concert, he remarked to her agent, "Do we have to put the earplugs in now?" So he does come up with these little gags. And,
do you know his one about Jeremy Hunt? When Jeremy Hunt moved from the media culture and the sport and went to health. You know this one?
No.
In the palace, the garden party, and they was giving awards. And so he actually gave them an approach to him. You know, as we were told, we never approach the royals. So he went to introduce himself, and he said to him, what do you do? He said, I'm a minister. He said, where's your dog collar? He said, no, I'm a minister. I used to be, so of what? Of health. What are you doing here? He said, well, I used to be media culture and sports. Oh, I suppose I have to find you something to do.
He was in Nigeria once and met the then president of Nigeria, who was wearing the ceremonial robes. And he remarked, you look as though you're ready for bed. So he is, sometimes I wonder whether he does it on purpose or whether he makes a gaffe, but he has...
but he's never been criticised, except by sort of the left-wing Republicans. But in general, he isn't. I mean, and he, like Her Majesty, of course, the whole royal family, and Abbott.
Yeah, there was one of my journalistic colleagues who was an editor who turned up once at a Buckingham Palace party, and he said to him, what are you doing here? And the Republican editor said, you invited me. And he said, well, you didn't have to accept. So he's very quick-witted.
He's very witty, very quick-witted. God bless Prince Philip. I'm sure I should be an occasion we will hear one of his famous
He deserves to put his feet up, I think.
Well, yes, yeah. You know, reminds me of my old editor, the late Sir Bill Deeds, when he went to Sudan. He was in his 90s, the man who taught me journalism. Oh, I thank the soul of Sir Bill Deeds. We thank Prince Philip, and of course, we thank David Wooding for being here with us on this very, very busy week. Thank you very much, David Wooding, the political editor of Sun on Sunday. هذا كل ما عندنا، وإلى اللقاء في الحلقة القادمة إن شاء الله.